I had a question for you. Probably the last thing on the advertising thing, or just kind of an overall statement about it is, you bring up a good point too, like talking about long-term investors. And this is why it's been weird to me, these people talking about like, oh, PulseChain has a marketing problem. I mean, Sami likes to throw this stat out all the time. I mean, there's 170 content creators. Like there's people like us that have a consistent channel. Maybe we're not always like going out and there's people that aren't great at this, but maybe we're not always going out and trying to find somebody on Solana and get them on the show and try to stuff like that. We're not DMing people and stuff. But just the fact that the content is out there, that's exactly how you found Hex, Frank. I mean, just like decentralized finance on YouTube, and then all of a sudden maybe you're just seeing that hex symbol a whole bunch. I mean, that's definitely happened to me in the past, about like you see the PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex logo all together on all these different channels. You see people with it in their profiles. It's the mind share, and there's really not another community in crypto like this that has all these people 100% for free. I mean, we make a couple $100 from YouTube or whatever, but other than that, totally for free, going out and talking about this stuff just because you're passionate about it and you love it. And that's really, I mean, not only does that mean that the marketing is out there, I think, and it's out there for you to find, but also we've been talking about cults too. I mean, the fact that people are this obsessive over it that they're doing it. I mean, Solana, and I'm not like picking on Solana or shitting on it on purpose. I'm just saying because it's kind of factual if you look at it. It's the antithesis of PulseChain. I mean, it is people that, oh, okay, well, this one's gone up. I know what it is. Sam Bankman-Fried was tied to it, and I know all about that story and everything. And they're going and making pump and dumps on there and stuff like that. We haven't seen Ethereum move. Solana has moved, so people are continuing to do stuff on there. It's really the antithesis. There's not people out there, like there's not this tight-knit Solana community or something like that people are just sitting here every single week talking about this stuff. So it comes from the top down, in my opinion. Like Richard Hart, just how passionate of a guy he is, fighting the way he does, fighting against the SEC and stuff like that right now, instilling the principles that he has. That's why you get these maniacal people, I think, that are just here doing this. So I don't know if you had any final thoughts on that. If so, go ahead. Right.
Yeah, I would just say, like, if people, the best advertisement is going to be people talking about it on YouTube, because it's like, for example, whenever I get a chance to it, I just talk about it passionately, and I give my perspective, I give my opinion, and I talk about it from my experience, and I talk about the solution that it offers, and how it's people who understand Bitcoin are going to understand Hex. The reason why Hex took off in the beginning was because there was a whole bunch of Bitcoin holders. Like, people who understand Bitcoin are the people who understand actual DeFi. That's why we were able to correct 99% and still survive, because you can't kill the idea that actually works. You can kill an idea that doesn't work, or you can kill an idea that is only temporary, or it's a meme coin, or it's short-term gratification, or it's a quick pump and dump. But you cannot kill an idea that actually solves a problem, because there was always going to be that 1-2% who says, I'm buying up the dip, because those people are not buying for a discount. They're buying because they know the solution that it solves, right? So Bitcoin was this solution, and then Richard Hart says, here's a better solution. And people commented all the time on my Twitter. They said, yeah, the reason why people in Hex are the OGs, they understand Hex very well, is because they were once Bitcoin holders. Right? That's factual. Those individuals who are Hex holders in the beginning, they were once Bitcoin holders, and they understood the problem that Bitcoin solved. We just offering a better way. Hex is a better way. So when people are on their YouTube channel and they talk about it passionately like that, I think that's one of the best ways, because they're not speaking from an emotional standpoint. They're speaking about it from like a factual standpoint. And then whenever someone like me hears it, I'm like, then we look at from a factual standpoint. We don't look at the emotions. We don't look at what feels good or what hears good, or, what we want to hear. We listen, we look at the facts, and we verify the facts, and then we make our own decisions. So the best marketing, in my opinion, is always going to be people like us who make YouTube videos, and you guys who are consistent every single week. That's always going to be the best marketing, in my opinion. Because when you try to force things through just trying to get more eyeballs, sometimes you're going to attract just a vast majority of people, a wide spectrum, from gamblers to believers, like long-term believers. And sometimes it's like a hit or miss. Now, people have disposable income and they just want to go and drop $10,000 on marketing because they want to do it out of the kindness of their heart. By all means, go ahead, right? But when you're asking like the community, let's raise $500,000 or $1 million to go do, something, some sort of marketing. That's where I'm like, no, I'm a believer that if it's the real deal, it's going to take off naturally. Naturally. You don't need to push it. It's going to happen just the same way that Bitcoin. People are going to understand it, believe it, and then eventually word of mouth is just going to take off.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt. But just I'm not giving my money away for someone to go hire some marketing ploy. If they want to do it from their own funds, by all means, go for it, right? But that's a case by case basis.